the First Federal program on WROI Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is Friday morning, and it is a jam-packed First Federal program with Todd Van Sickle. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Paul. Yes, we have a full studio today. Some special guests.
Yes, we do. I'm excited for this.
And Mark Kepler from the Purdue Extension Office. I know it's a rainy day, but our next special guest will help drive some of that rain away with a special song.
Yes,
we have the Fulton County Choral Group with us today, and they'll be singing an Irving Berlin song, Blue Skies. And we welcome them today, and as they step up here, we'll get ready to go, and welcome Fulton County Choral Group. Thank you to the Fulton County Choral Club for joining us this morning. That was awesome. Yes, Blue Skies, Irving Berlin. The song was performed by many, many people. A little history on that. I just looked it up last night. That song was one of the hit songs from the first talking movie, The Jazz Singer, actually. And it had heard Frank Sinatra sing it, Ella Fitzgerald, Willie Nelson, many others, but nobody doesn't like the Fulton County Choral Club.
That's true.
So thank you very much. We have 6 members of that group today. Maybe invite Linda up here to talk about, or Joyce, whoever wants to speak. Joyce?
Where do you want?
Right here. So maybe introduce your group with us today.
Absolutely. Starting over here is Pam Jones, and then Heather Cavins, Bev Cooley. Back here is our director, Joyce Jones, and then Deanna Gualtieri, and Donna Kennedy, and I'm Linda Wade.
Awesome, very much. Thank you for coming out today.
Absolutely.
You have a special event coming up in a couple couple of weeks, May 6th.
Yes, that is our spring show, and we have been working diligently. It's going to be a marvelous time down at the Fulton Community Center in Fulton, starting at 7 p.m.
That's great. Tickets can be purchased from Heather Cavins at First Federal Savings Bank. At the door, or you can go online or call Sandra Hovarth at 574-835-1020. Well, we're very blessed to have you on today. I know, thinking about our founder, Dick Belcher, he would have thought this was great. So
Yes.
we welcome you, and best wishes on your show coming up May 6th. The title of this show is A Grand Night for Singing, and what a way to start today on Friday morning with this unfortunately rainy day, but your blue skies will drive that rain away, hopefully.
We're hoping so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're happy you're here today.
You know, Todd, we're going to have him back soon to say, "No, what a beautiful morning."
That is true. I was thinking about that. Yeah. Perfect segue there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you to the Fulton County
Thank you,
Choral
ladies.
Club.
Thanks.
We also have Mark Kepler here today.
Your turn.
Notice they didn't invite Mark or I to sing, or you to sing with them.
Well, because they know better.
Yeah. You won't ask Mark to sing, but he's from the Fulton County Purdue Extension Office, Fulton County Leadership, man about town, involved in lots of things. So we welcome Mark later in the show. I was talking to Paul a little bit before the show. You've heard of ChatGPT?
I've heard of it. Haven't had much of a chance to use it yet, but you told me some fabulous things about it.
It's artificial intelligence. I played around with it a little bit yesterday. Some tech news today. Basically, it's on-demand artificial intelligence that uses the knowledge of the world to help write things and answer questions. In fact, I knew somebody that was trying to solve a software coding problem with that, and was using Python, the coding language, and couldn't figure out what was wrong, so he put the Python code into his question, and within seconds, it answered him and told him what was wrong with his code, so it would work.
Oh,
Interesting.
very interesting.
I asked a couple questions yesterday, write a short paragraph about life in Indiana, and it hit the nail on the head. I mean, it described a Midwest region of the United States, picturesque countryside, diverse economy, friendly people, offers a blend of rural and urban environments, bustling cities like Indianapolis, making the cost of living in Indiana is low, making it an affordable place to call home, talk about recreational activities, and it ended with, Indiana is also famous for basketball culture, with Hoosiers rooting passionately for favorite high school and college teams.
Oh, yeah.
There's real mixed emotion about what ChatGPT can do for us or not do for us.
Yeah.
You know, there's concern in schools and education. It can, make writing that term paper easier or not. But it's interesting how this is all going to play out. I also asked the question, kind of write a short paragraph of defining the meaning of life, and that was pretty interesting. The response I got there. It said, defining the meaning of life is complex and a philosophical question that has puzzled humans for centuries. There's no single answer or consensus on what the meaning of life is, but I just thought it was interesting how very coherently he gave answers that probably better than I could even write myself, So
Yeah.
ChatGPT, it'd be interesting to see what's happening with that in the future. Any thoughts on that, Mark, as we welcome you today?
No,
Is artificial intelligence
I
coming
think
into
that's
play?
kind of interesting to see what's going on with that. When you talked about the language, I always remember I stopped at my son. He was at the cooperative at Purdue. I happened to sit down for lunch, and across the table from me was a brand new young computer scientist. And I said to him, well, have you ever heard of Fortran or Cobalt? No, I've never heard of them before. That was the language we used back a long time ago when they first started out these things. And the young youth of today have no clue what those are.
I like
they
that,
don't
Mark.
know.
Fortran is what I did in college, too.
Yeah.
And I learned something interesting. I brought this up on the radio station a couple of weeks ago when we were talking. Do you know that Fortran was a language used by the Apollo program?
Okay, all right. Did
I
not
just
know
thought
that.
that was interesting.
Well, this kid was never going to get us to the moon the way it sounded.
You were back in the day of like the punch cards. Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We did punch cards.
Yeah, I did
yes.
punch cards,
Oh,
too.
that was yes. We
So
did.
that's our tech news for today. And our space news today. Actually, I was talking about Apollo program. In 1959, the Mercury 7, this is the first day they reported to duty, the 7 astronauts. Scott Carpenter, Gordon Cooper, John Glenn, Gus Grissom, Wally Schirra, Alan Shepard, and Deke Slayton. A lot of history's happened since then. If it weren't for that group of men, it'd be interesting to see where we're at with an initial start with the space program.
And the tie to Purdue University is really huge in that whole program.
Yeah,
Yes,
I kind of brought that up because Mark's here representing Purdue University in the Extension Office. We'll talk more about that later, but Purdue basically leads by far in the number of astronauts.
Yeah, I think there's 40-some or something like
Right.
that they've got that's probably put into space.
Well, that's great. Got a lot to do with today's show. We'll start with trivia. Has nothing to do with what we talked about yet. Just throw this out of the blue.
All right.
So, Paul, the state of Indiana ranks number 1 in the country for what production? Duck, sheep, chicken, or pig? This maybe has a little bit to do with Mark being from the Extension Office today.
All right.
Number 1 in the country for production of duck, sheep, chicken, or pig. And you don't have to answer that right now, Mark, but we don't want to give Paul any clues yet.
I don't. Okay, I won't give any clues, but it's really kind of crack me up.
That's awesome. So we're going to bring Tanner in for sports. Speaking of sports.
Good morning.
I see your head drop as he cuts the joke up there, so I'm
It's a
guessing
good
you
joke.
helped come up with it.
I'll let it fly.
All right.
But good morning. Yes, a lot going on in the sports world. I know
May or may not have been a clue.
It was a good joke.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
going with. No clues there.
a lot going on in the sports world, but I know we got a jam-packed program this morning, so
Oh,
I'm going
yeah.
to keep it kind of short today with my sports report and my tidbits. But there was some big news in the Three Rivers Conference this week.
Yep.
A longtime member, Purdue Valley, who's been a member of the conference since 1974. This is going to be their last year.
Yeah, I know.
So this spring sports season right now is their last sports season they'll ever be a part of the TRC. They're exiting the conference starting within the fall with fall sports and replacing them with Lewis Cass. So that's going to take place very soon.
Very
It looked like it was going to take place the following year, but the board that votes on all the principals of the TRC schools voted on that change to happen. So we will see. It's interesting. The conference realignments are happening now in high school sports, not just college.
Right.
College kind of kicked it off a few years ago, basically because of TV rights, and now there's no stop in sight. It seems like.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Ten is adding 2 more teams here in 2 years with USC and UCLA, but there's already talk about even adding more.
You're right. It's high school sports is hitting that. I saw there's 2 big schools in Indianapolis are kind of conferences now.
Yes.
And I know the North Central Conference is making some changes. And
Yep.
Tiffany Valley, is there any word on where they're going?
Yes, they are joining a conference that's yet to be named
Okay.
with Jimtown, John Glenn, Knox, LaVille, and Bremen. So those 6 are creating their own conference. Not sure what the name of it is, and not sure if it's just going to be 6 or if they're going to even add more to that.
I heard talks if they wanted 8.
1 to 8. 8's a good number for matchups and everything.
Especially
Yeah.
for a football season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully, Tiffany Valley and Rochester are able to still compete in sports. We'll see how that works out with schedules. But, as a Rochester alum, I want to see that battle of the belt continue if it's possible.
Yeah, I know the whole community would like to see that
Yeah.
continue because it's a great rivalry.
Yep. A lot of history.
Yeah.
And Rochester doesn't have the bell right now.
They don't.
So,
They don't. So-
and if they had it, they'd probably say, get out of here. We don't care.
But that'll be an interesting situation to keep our eye on
Yeah.
in the next coming months. See how this all plays out. Because now Lewis Cass Conference, which I can't think of off the top of my head, now they need to replace Lewis Cass with somebody. So it's kind of one domino falls and then
Yep. And it's a chain of events.
chain reaction there. So, well, that was a big sports night last night. It continues tonight and tomorrow, the NFL Draft. It's one of my
Yes.
favorite events of the year. Last night was the first round. Tonight's the second and third round. Then tomorrow's round 4 through 7. Some interesting picks last night. Colts had the number 4 overall pick, and they got their quarterback of the future, Anthony Richardson from Florida. That's who I predicted they were going to get, but
The guy that's only started 13 games.
yeah, 13 games. He's very athletic. He's a little raw. His team didn't
60% completion.
team didn't do a lot of winning for Florida standards, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if he starts week 1. You know, being a top 5 pick, your fan base is going to want him to. But they did go get veteran Gardner Minshew this past season in free agency. I don't know. I don't know how they'll handle this. I've seen it handled 2 different ways. You throw him in the fire, and sometimes you let the veteran start, and then.
And size-wise, he's bigger than a lot of running backs. But I don't know if I were a Colts fan, I want my quarterback running a lot.
Yeah, right. So it's going to be interesting. I saw some mixed reaction on social media from Colts fans last night. More probably not happy with the pick than those who were.
That's interesting.
But also the Bears, they had the 9th overall pick, traded back a spot to the 10th overall pick, and they ended up getting Darnell Wright, offensive lineman from Tennessee. So, linemen aren't always the most exciting picks, but they're important picks. Yeah. And I think I read a stat where he didn't allow any sacks his last 19 games in college.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, getting some much-needed protection for Justin Fields, so maybe he doesn't have to run for his life like he has been the past year or so. So, and your Browns and my Broncos didn't have any picks. That's what we get for trading for quarterbacks.
That's always disappointing. Like,
it is.
Excited about it, and like, oh. Now we have like the 38th pick or something.
For me, the Broncos don't pick till the 3rd round, so unless they happen to jump into the 2nd round tonight. But yeah, and then there were some teams like the Jaguars trade down twice last night to get more picks. So it's always interesting with strategy. You had the Texans pick number 2 overall, then they traded up to pick number 3 overall as well, and so they got 2 really good players. So the Colts division became stronger last night, I would say.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting, but we'll see. We'll see if one Purdue, Notre Dame, and Indiana players get picked over this weekend, because Notre Dame was hoping to have Michael Mayer drafted in the 1st round last night, and he slipped into the 2nd round. But I think he'll go off the board pretty early tonight. So. I got the tidbits here this morning. Like I said, I try to keep this shorter than usual, so I took the on this days out, and I know you guys will cover that later anyways, you usually do.
Yeah, now I can't know something that the professor's going to say.
Yeah, sorry about that. I can slip you some notes that I found anyways later on in the text message. So. But we do have some days. Today's a biological clock day.
Okay.
National Cubicle Day.
Ah.
National Arbor Day.
Yes.
Which we talked about before we came on air. National Superhero Day. Who's your favorite superhero, Paul?
Wolverine.
Wolverine? That's a good one. I'm a Superman guy myself. But National Blueberry Pie Day.
Okay.
Global Pay It Forward Day. That's a really good one.
You can pay it forward all you want.
National Shrimp Scampi Day. Clean Comedy Day.
Okay.
That's why Mark started off with the deck joke.
Yep.
Yeah, keeping it clean.
Workers' Memorial Day. National Hairball Awareness Day.
He just skipped that part.
Yeah. Cat lovers. Cat lovers know what that is.
Yeah. Never on hardwood, always on the ground.
So those are the days today.
All right.
That's some upcoming events. Do you want me to cover this, or do you want to?
I can cover the one I have on my notes.
Okay.
The Times Theater, they've been doing a great job showing different shows and different movies every weekend. That continues this weekend. They're showing the movie The Croods.
Okay.
Ever heard of it?
Yeah.
It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's free for kids.
Okay.
And then tomorrow night, Goonies. All-time classic there.
Cult classic from the 80s.
That's going to be showing at 7 o'clock, and that is free for everyone.
Okay.
So thank you to the sponsor for that.
Have you guys seen the Goonies?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while, but I have. Yes.
I will tell you, my kids have even seen the Goonies.
Okay.
I made sure.
You're raising them right.
Yes.
It's a good one.
They've seen the Goonies and they've seen Sandlot.
That's a good one, too.
Canary has some flowers today, too.
Yeah, I want to give some flowers to the Compassionate Health Center for earning their 3rd straight gold rating from the National Association of Free and Charitable Clinics Quality Standards Program.
It's a great recognition for a local agency, organization that does a lot of great things for our community.
Right.
We had Mary Kay on a couple weeks ago, so if you want to hear more about what they're doing, visit our archive and YouTube.
Yep, and they got their big golf outing fundraiser coming up in June. So if you're interested in sponsoring a hole or a team for that, make sure you contact her and get in that, because that's their big fundraiser they do every year. And like Todd said, they do a lot of great things for the community. It's great to see them get some really appropriate recognition for it.
Yeah.
Moving on to money news. You mentioned right before the show started with the moment that the Dow was up almost 500 points this week, or yesterday. But that's interesting because this week is basically flat. So it means it went down about 500 points this week before it went up 500 points. And as Tanner usually says, what Dick Belcher says is...
It's going to go up or it's going to go down, so we're going to keep an eye on that.
It's already done that this week.
Yeah.
So moving on to First Federal. We're open today from 8:30 to 5, tomorrow 8:30 to noon. You can always bank with us online. Through our app you can download, or our online banking. Our ATM's open 24/7, 365 days a year. If you need extra cash, we again still offer Simply Free checking accounts, Simply Free business accounts. The gift has changed. You get an LED speaker or First Federal Savings Bank insulated mug. So you get your choice now. We have two specials right now, a 9-month CD with a 4.32% annual percentage yield. That's a great rate in today's environment. And we're still offering our closed-end second mortgage special through May 31st, where you can get a reduced rate. You pay the closing cost, but you get a reduced rate. It's good for consolidating debt, making a home improvement, and you must be a first lien holder with First Federal. As Dick Belcher says, we're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender, and their MLS number is 399927.
There you go.
You notice what I did there, Joe?
Yes.
Paul taught me a little trick last week to make sure I get the right number of nines in there. So, welcome, Mark.
Hey, good morning.
Great day today, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
Blue sky day almost.
That's false advertising.
Yeah. Well, we got Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Something you deal with the extension office
Yeah,
a
you
little
know,
bit?
in fact, just this week I went into the schools and I gave a tree program to the 5th graders. And I have done that for a lot of years. Well, I've done it for 27 years here. And before I was even here, I did it in some other counties. So we talk about trees. We go through the science of trees. We talk about when the pioneers first came in here and how many trees were in this area, how trees were everywhere. And a little statistic for you here. You always like to do those here.
Yes, I do.
When the pioneers first came into the state of Indiana, 87% of the state was trees.
Interesting.
All that farm ground you see when you leave here and go down to Indianapolis, that was all a solid forest. And the accounts at that time would say, we don't even see the sun until we got to the rivers because it was that much shade. By the year 1900, it was down to 8%.
Wow. So you go from that large percentage, and that's probably over 50, 60 years, basically.
Yeah, it dropped it down. And for us, you know, they come in here in the 1830s. So yeah, you're looking at that time period, and they had lots of kids, they had to eat, they had to farm, and they came in and whacked her down and started farming it.
So for every tree, they probably found 2 rocks in the field,
You
then
know,
too, right?
Yes, and I always talk about, you know, those trees were huge, absolutely huge trees. And so in the process, once they cut them down, they probably just farmed around those stumps for a number of years until they rotted down.
Yeah, they didn't have the electronic or the equipment today to dig out the stumps. Yeah. Well, welcome, Mark. We're glad you're here today. Why don't you remind me of what your official title is? It's a long one.
Well, not that long, but so I work for the Purdue Cooperative Extension Service. So that's a long title, but the cooperative is the fact that we are a state, federal, and local funded organization. Everybody contributes to us. We cooperate together. We're an extension of Purdue University, so we take the information for the university out to the public, and we're a service to the public. So Purdue Extension and Purdue Cooperative Extension Service. My job is to do agriculture and natural resource work. So that really means everything in the School of Agriculture. And we've got all sorts of majors in School of Agriculture that I know a little bit about all those things, and I try to bring that out to the people. And when it comes time that I don't know something specific, I call a person who may just study that specific thing. He may just be a honeybee specialist at Purdue University, and I can call and ask him those kinds of things. So they are some very specialized people there.
I know you get lots of phone calls asking for information on certain resources, and that's where you use your expertise and you bring in some subject matter experts.
Yes, yeah, that's what we do. We bring them in every once in a while, and you say, I'm not sure of that. I got to check with somebody. And so we do that.
And How long have you been doing this in Fulton County?
Well, Fulton County's been 27 years. My career, and I started out in Lake County, so I will be at 38 years a little bit later this summer. But before that, I even spent 5 summers of college. You figure out how I got 5 summers, but I did. College, doing extension work, training positions.
That's great. I've always heard if you spend another year in college, well, you can't enjoy it, you know?
Well, I was sick, that's why.
Okay.
So I went, so that
We
part
won't
came
go
into play.
That's good. You've been doing lots of great things for our local community with the Extension Office and like the Arbor Day and Trees program, just going out, providing some additional information to our kids in school just so they're a little more knowledgeable.
Through the years, I have done that about every school for about every kid in 5th grade. So
that's awesome. So other things you're involved with in the community, Fulton County Leadership Academy.
Yeah, I picked that up, and gosh, it's been 17 years ago now. It's amazing to me how time flies. But we had Leadership Academy prior to that. We had a period of time where it was done, and people kept saying, we need to bring this back, we bring this back. And so I said, I think I can do this. So we did it, we brought it back. So over those 17 years, we've had graduation classes of around 15 to 16, 17 people that are part of the community, a part of businesses. First Federal always sends somebody to Leadership Academy, and we have had several other businesses send through it. We get a chance to talk about leadership, that formal training, you might say. And then we also get to visit a variety of places in the community and introduce them to Fulton County and to show what's here, what potentials we have, what partnerships we've got. And the other part of the class that I really like is these people get together, and as you well know, Todd, one of the things we do, one of the first classes we do, is we get them all out at Geneva Center and make them work together in groups.
Team building.
So team building activities, and I always say a class that sweats together stays together.
Well, that's great. You've had a great impact on just kind of doing the math in my head. 300 to 400 leaders in our community.
Yeah, and then one of the offshoots of that was the Youth Leadership Academy. So they have projects. So every time you hear somebody talk about the Leadership Academy project, Purdue Extension is behind that now. And that's, so I'm really kind of proud when I go around the community and I look at some of the things that have changed here. I didn't do them, but my people in my class did those. And if it wasn't for this program, those things wouldn't be done.
Well, that's a great servant's heart. I don't know if we want to talk about this today, but you're making some career changes going up.
Yeah, I will be doing that. But I was going to mention backwards, one of the things that we did start out of Leadership Academy was a Youth Leadership Academy. So they have been meeting for like 16 years now.
Okay.
That's 20 students a year that we've been putting through that. So we just had our last class for this year yesterday, and we'll be going on to little graduation ceremonies we come up with.
You have the Leadership Academy graduation, and you have the Youth Leadership Academy graduation.
Yeah. Coming up in May.
Both of those in May, and it's amazing the impact, just thinking about the impact you've had on, 800 to 1,000 people in our community, and you're a good man, Mark.
I can't always remember all their names.
No.
That's my problem.
But when you probably have a sense of pride when you see something happening in the community, you go, oh, that person was in the Youth Academy, that person was in the Adult Academy. You've done a great job, and we thank you for all you've done in the community. And those programs are going to continue.
Yeah, so along that line is where you were heading down. The reason why, come the end of June, I'm going to start my retirement. And I say start that because I've got a couple of months left for vacation and stuff like that, so it's not technically that day. But and the reason I picked that was I wanted to get through all these leadership academies for this year and get those programs done, and then also get some going on in our office, get some training of our other people in our
transition. It'll be a smooth transition, and services still exist. And
Jessica Riffle, who is does what we call health and human science work in our office, she is already the director of the office. I transferred that to her about a year ago, and so we've been training her to do these different things, and so I hope I can smooth that out. People keep asking me about, well, when are you going to be replaced? I don't know if I like that question.
Marky can't be replaced.
But I think it's going to be at least to the end of the year. It isn't a fast process.
Well, that's great. It's kind of with mixed emotions, talking to you about this. You become a friend since I've been in the community and see and know all the great things you're doing in the community, and you've had a very positive impact on, helping our agricultural community out, helping our youth out, helping business people out with leadership things. Job well done, Mark. We appreciate all you've done.
That's good.
We hope to see you around the community still, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. And it's kind of interesting. You think of what Extension is involved in. The ladies that were here this morning, they're Extension also. And most people don't know that. They meet at the fairgrounds. They were part of an Extension group. They were part of an Extension choir that was statewide. So they exist because of Purdue Extension also.
It's kind of like those degrees of separation. There's not too many things separated in Fulton County from the work of Purdue University and the Extension office. There are a lot of things that, even a lot of the projects you've seen in town came from a lot of the Leadership Academy projects.
Yeah, there's, and I could name a few of them along that line. I talked about the youth leadership. Several years ago, there was a group that did the beach out here at Lake Manitou. There are projects they have sometimes that continue on for years and years and years, and there's some school projects along that line that have been going on. There's some set things. There was a group several years back that bought a blower for the trail, the nickel plate trail out here, and that was their job. They just bought it, and that was it. There's other projects that continue on and on and on. And so the impact in the community is definitely there.
Yeah, I was involved in a project that hasn't come to fruition yet.
Yeah, there you go.
You're going to be part of that when it does get done. There's a nickel plate trail coming into town. They're still working on that, it seems like, and ultimately you may have a trailhead center there with restrooms and things like that.
Yeah, there you go. So some of these projects that I've seen this happen take a while. And you start out with people that are interested in it. One of the projects, and it's taken just a little bit of time, we had a group a couple of years ago that do a dog park out here at the county parks. And I'm on the county parks board, so I was able to say, well, you're looking for a place, we're on the county parks board, we're looking for a place. So we established it at Richland Nature Park up here on 450, that dog park too. That's a project, and it continues forever.
Well, you've done a lot of great things in the community, Mark. We're going to miss your active leadership, but you're going to be behind the scenes still doing things like this.
Yeah.
Because you're very involved in the community, and want to congratulate you on a great career and great contributions to the community. And there'll probably be some retirement activities happening later in the year.
Yeah, it will be. The office has got a date scheduled towards the late June for a little get-together. Kick him out the door.
Honoring all the great things you've done. Like I said, you've been a great friend, and I know what you do in the community. And job well done, Mark.
Thank you.
You won't stop. I know that. Anything else you want to add as kind of closing remarks for?
No, it goes both ways. The community has been very receptive. And sometimes people think, well, I came from outside. I always like to tell people I am a graduate of the Woodlawn Maternity Ward. So I originated from this community. I brought up in Culver, so I've got an interest in what's going on around here. And I appreciate all the interest that people have done. Things, clubs, organization, First Federal gives us the room to have our leadership classes in. So there's a tremendous amount of camaraderie. I don't know a better word for it that we have in getting some things done.
You're a perfect example of homegrown talent stays home and makes some great contributions. And I know you've spread kind of some of that same ideas through the leadership academies, both you and the adult leadership academies. And thank you for all you've done, and all with the extension office too. Job well done.
Thank you, Tom.
Trivia, Paul. Let's get back to that. The state of Indiana ranks #1 in the country for what production? Duck, sheep, chicken, or pig? And, Tanner mentioned fly. 3 of those fly. Pigs fly sometimes, right? When something doesn't.
Sheep fly. Watch sheep fly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Speaking from, somebody in the farm background.
Usually try to catch them when they fly.
Okay. So duck, sheep, chicken, or pig?
Well, I had to think long and hard on this one. Even the clue, I caught the clue, but I had already started before the clue because I've had probably 40 people that I know work in a duck farm, so I'm going to go with the ducks.
What do you think?
It's duck.
It's duck. That's the right answer.
We're pretty high in chickens, too. It's amazing because thing about Indiana is we're a fairly small state when you talk about west of the Rockies, the Appalachian Mountains. We're pretty small. We are the smallest, I think.
And we rank in a lot of agriculture facts, like even in corn's big production for small.
So yeah, we're small, but if you would do it on an area basis, we'd rank a whole lot higher.
Right.
Than what we do right now because of our size.
So duck's the answer.
Yeah.
The words of wisdom today are very appropriate for Mark, and they come from George Halas, Chicago Bears football great. Nobody who ever gave his best regretted it. And I know, Mark, you've given your best over the years, and we appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
to
you,
First
Todd.
Federal. Thanks for doing this program.
Yeah, thank you, Mark, and we'll see you guys again next week.
Yes.